complete desert.
Our plan is to make it to Sweden, and it's getting harder and harder to make it.
We're low on water and we're in the middle of nowhere, as you can see. When we were about to cross the border into Russia, we noticed that we didn't have the right import documents to Christian's ATV. We decided to do something illegal and try and smuggle one of these ATVs out of the country. And that's in a country where they are pretty strict about laws.
Well, we don't know where we are at the moment. This was by far the most critical point of the trip, because this would decide if we stayed or if we continued.
A lot of thoughts shot through my head when we were standing at the Russian border as we were about to commit a little scam to smuggle one of the ATVs into Russia. And we met Marco. Marco is a quite interesting character. He's been riding his motorcycle for the past 3 years across 6 continents, and he's deaf. He was very good at border crossings, and he knew a lot of stuff about the routes, and we shared a lot of information together. I did worry a bit about Christian in that truck. I mean, one of his weaker sides is that he trusts anybody right away.
When they checked the other trucks, I was really nervous. My only thought was that, okay, this is it. Now we have to turn back and we have to leave. We have to go home. But let us go.
We made it into the Russian border. We're in Russia! Woo-hoo! It was time to say farewell to Marco as he was going to continue down south. We had been traveling for about 10 days together, so it was a bit sad to leave him behind, but we had to continue on with our journey.
What seems to be the problem, Peter?
Drive belts probably snapped.
When do we normally change these?
According to that book, every 3,000 kilometers.
And how many kilometers have we gone so far?
7.5. As I discovered, it was the drive belt that had snapped. It was actually a big relief, because one of the few spare parts that we brought was a spare drive belt. But we needed a tiny little screw. And I was actually holding this spare screw in my hand back in Sweden. But for some reason, we thought, yeah. At this workshop, we managed to fix the drive belts and put it all back together. And suddenly, this big black SUV with tinted windows rolls in very high speed. And out comes this guy, who everybody calls Mr. Boss, or the boss. He basically just tells us to get in his car. He sort of gets a little offended, like, yeah, no problem, get in car. And when we're in this car, they take off in high speed, windows are tinted and everything. And that's when we discover, damn it, there's two guys in this car. And there's one rule we heard about Russia from home, was that never get in a car with more than one person in it.
I was afraid most of the time because they just left the city we were in and they went straight out to the middle of nowhere. I was just very nervous.
It turned out to be a fantastic day. They drove us around for hours, took us to fish restaurants, fed us imported German beer. We met his wife. And it was Swedish midsummer. They actually happened to pick fresh strawberries. And we got this massive bowl, and it was really nice.
It was really nice to see how they live, and really nice and friendly people. I'm very glad that they didn't kill me. If they did, I would be really upset.
Ja, jag filmar.
No. Before we got to Susdal, we had spent many days just driving on these paved roads, and it's pretty boring. You're just sitting in a sort of trance on these long stretches of paved road, because Russia is a massive country.
Comparing Mongolia with driving endless hours on the highways in Russia, I can only say that it was very boring. In Mongolia there's so much to see and you create your own roads, but now you can only follow one road to your destination.
Good morning.
We stayed in this amazing hostel called Godzilla's. Found out there's another Godzilla in Moscow, which is supposed to be pretty popular. So I guess that's where we're going next. Moscow! As we've gotten this far on this trip, the further you drive with ATVs, the more critical every service stop gets. As they started going through the machines, we were a bit worried that, I mean, you're not supposed to travel this far with ATVs, so we thought, like, what if there's something wrong with the engine or something very delicate is worn out? So we were a bit worried when they started checking them through. While we were waiting in the workshop, this Russian guy walks in, and his name is Yuri, and turns out to be the owner. They told us that we don't have to worry about anything, as they had read about us on the ATV forum, and they really respected our little journey, and they wanted us to succeed. And he was very interested in motorsports and all that himself. He was a living proof of the famous Russian hospitality, and he really wants to show us Moscow. As we were filming the cathedral, we met this Australian chick, Katie. She walked up to us and asked us why we were filming, and she was there by herself, and we decided to let her tag along for our sightseeing in Moscow.
Welcome to the man cave.
Yeah.
Yuri showed us around in his shop.
Your store was a pretty cool one. I never seen anything like it in Sweden. It was really big. It had everything.
Yuri probably assumed that we knew a lot about ATVs, and we just had to hustle along and not make it too obvious that we actually usually didn't have a clue what he was talking about.
Go, man!
Yuri also took us to his motocross track for ATVs. His friend demonstrated how they drive when they race. It was also our last night with Katie. She was gonna carry on to Croatia. And it was a great night, and We all said farewell.
We said goodbye to her, which was really sad because she was really fun hanging out with.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you.
Driving towards Ukraine was a big mess as we got hit by this massive rainstorm. And it was the first big rainstorm really since Mongolia.
Driving through bad weather when it's raining really hard is miserable. You get wet and you get cold and you just want to take cover anywhere.
So we're at the truck stop and we're on our way to Ukraine. We had some rain, it's cold, we're tired. Talk to my foot because the face ain't listening anymore. It's too fucking tired and cold.
When we arrived in Kiev, we thought that we were gonna find a hostel or hotel very easily. We didn't think about the football finals. Turned out that we had to look for it really hard. We looked in the city center for maybe 3 or 4 hours just driving around. But then we drove outside the city and that's when we found this beach club.
I say yes, you say no. Want to love you when the lights turn down. How you tease.
This beach club turned out to be heaven to us.
We're here at the people and we're about to start.
Early one morning, a big black SUV, as usual, rolled up, and this was a guy called Vladimir. He had heard about us through the Russian ATV forum and was very excited to meet us. Vladimir was a giant ATV fan. He himself was competing in ATV rallies and he was a very dedicated enthusiast. As we were sitting in the car with Vladimir, we weren't certain where we were going. It was our last night in Kiev, so Vladimir invited us for dinner at his friend's place.
Another number one. The main dish. I think this is number 15 for one. This is number 6, number 4. I'm not sure. No. This is number 1. We've been here for 6 hours now. Number 4. So this is about number 10. Ah. 7 hours.
I have no idea how many shots we had.
We're in the middle of Kiev!
Celebration is in order.
I saw tall ships rising, terrible lightning, terrible fright.
As we were approaching the ferry that was going to take us back home, a massive feeling was building up about excitement and fulfillment that we made it. At the same time, it was a great moment to reflect over the amazing things we have seen, the people we have met.
And there my home will be. And you shine on the bird.
The difficulties we had to overcome.
There my house will stand.
Despite all the crazy things that have happened to us during this trip, it was an amazing feeling to make it all the way back home. But at the same time, there was this sadness that this adventure was gonna come to an end.
There were many hazards that we thought we were gonna screw the entire trip, but we came out of it in a good way and we took 2 ATVs from Mongolia to Sweden. No one else has done it before. Yeah, we made it.
That face me and you shine in the stars over the sea. and you shine.